Hey there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rachel, the owner of Rayrock Design. I've been designing websites for over 10 years and doing graphic design even longer. Today we're diving into something a lot of you are curious about: how to become a web designer. I've come up with 10 steps you can start right now, today, to help you achieve your goal of becoming a great web designer. Now, let me just preface this by saying there's no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. It's kind of like asking, how do you become a lawyer, or how do you become a fine artist? There are so many paths you can take, and the best way is really what works for you, your skills, your lifestyle, and your goals. We all solve problems differently, and we all help people in unique ways, and those are the kinds of things that determine the best routes to take to achieve our goals. So while I'd love to meet with each of you to help figure out what works best for you personally to achieve the goal of becoming a great web designer, that isn't an option, which is why I've created this video. I've put together what I think are some of the most important foundational elements that will help you on your journey towards becoming a great web designer. One note before we get started, you do not need to follow these steps in this order. It's actually probably better for you to figure out the best order for you in terms of what's most convenient, because I feel like you'll be able to gain momentum that way and have more success in achieving all 10 steps. So with all that said, let's dive into the deep end. Here we go. Step 1. Learn design basics. First and foremost, web design isn't just about making things look pretty on a screen. At its core, it's about design. So before we even talk about specific web design tools and platforms, you've got to understand the basics of design. Things like balance, alignment, typography, color theory, and spacing. These are all foundational principles that are just as important in web design as they are in graphic design or art or even architecture. And trust me, having a solid grasp of these fundamentals will elevate your web design game right from the start. So consider learning from books like The Design of Everyday Things, or taking online courses on platforms like Coursera, Skillshare, or Udemy to get a real solid foundation for design. Step 2, learn design history. Once you have the basics of design down, another key component is understanding the history of design, especially how it relates to digital spaces. This might sound a little out of the box, but knowing where design comes from will give you insights into where it's going. Look at movements like Bauhaus, minimalism, and even Swiss design. These all have elements that have influenced modern web design trends to this day. Step 3. Learn web design software and platforms. Okay, so now that we've got some fundamentals, it's time to learn the tools of the trade. There are a ton of web design platforms and software options out there, and some of the most popular ones are WordPress, probably the most popular, widely used platform for building websites because it's so versatile and it can be simple, or it can be used for extremely advanced websites. Then there's Divi and Elementor. These are page builders that work within WordPress and make it super easy to design websites without as much coding. Then there are separate things like Squarespace and Wix, and those are great for beginners, offering drag and drop features for a simple website creation. Then you've got Webflow, which is a more advanced tool that offers a visual interface, but also allows you to dive deeper into code if that's your thing. And Adobe XD or Figma, which are more for the design process itself, helping you to prototype and plan out the look of your website before building it. Step 4, learn basic coding. You might be asking, do I need to know how to code? Well, yes and no. The truth is, these days, you can get by with little to no coding, thanks to the vast array of drag and drop builders and user-friendly platforms available. But learning some beginner coding can give you an edge, especially in understanding how things work behind the scenes. Not to mention when something goes wrong, and something will go wrong, knowing some coding can help you fix things faster or get help from a developer using the right language, which streamlines the process. If you want to start small, learn the basics of HTML and CSS, and this will kind of help you customize your websites beyond any templates that are offered. If you're feeling ambitious, you can dive into JavaScript for more interactive features too. Step 5, master the technical side. Now, it's not just about making a website look good. You also need to understand the technical side of web design. This includes things like hosting Every website needs a home on the internet, so you'll need to learn about hosting providers like SiteGround, Bluehost, and GoDaddy. These companies offer more than just hosting, of course, and it's really in your best interest to explore what they have to offer so that you can present or choose the best options for your clients. Domain names. You'll want to learn about domain names and their extensions, and maybe even about pricing to help answer client questions on the topic. There's a whole strategy and knowledge base around choosing the right domain names, as it's the first impression website users have when they come to a website. It's also a way for people to actually find you through search results. Website security. This is crucial. Whether it's SSL certificates or backing up your websites regularly, security is non-negotiable. You'll want to figure out the best options for you if you plan to host your clients' websites, and or get some general knowledge on this to help your clients out when they ask about it, if they need it, and what do they need. Then there's website performance. This one's important, but from the technical side and the design side. Of course, speed matters when it comes to website building. The trick is knowing how to optimize everything before and during the process if needed. A slow website will lose visitors fast, so you want to do things like optimize your images, have caching plugins, and make sure your hosting plan can handle the traffic that's needed for that particular website build. Step 6, learn the business side of things. This is the part a lot of people overlook when they first start out, but if you want to be successful as a web designer, you need to know the business side too. Things like budgeting, understanding your costs, hosting fees, domain fees, software subscriptions, your time, etc. By understanding your costs, you can then price things out for future clients appropriately. Working with clients. Good communication is key. Understand what your clients want and set clear expectations for how you can achieve it and when. One of the biggest complaints I hear from clients is that their designer ghosted them, never responded, or stopped in the middle of the job. Do not do this. Do not. Not if you want to attain a good reputation and ongoing business. Contracts and billing. Always use contracts and have a clear billing system. Tools like HoneyBook or FreshBooks or QuickBooks can help with that. Then there's marketing. So you definitely need to market yourself. There's a ton of ways to do that. You could go the social media route, SEO, word of mouth. My advice is to always start local, both doing the legwork in person and online with a free Google business listing. As you know, Google reviews are everything. So the more great reviews you can get of people to vouch for you and your services, the more likely strangers will entrust their business to you. Step 7, practice. Like any other skill, the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Start by building websites for yourself, for your friends, and then move on to small clients. With every project, you're going to learn something new, what works for you, what doesn't, and what you enjoy most about the process. These are all important clues to how you should proceed on this path. If you come across a local business with a website that could use a refresh, take it on as a project. Redesign their website and you'll have a great before and after to showcase in your portfolio. You can even reach out to the business owner, show them the improvements you've made, and who knows, maybe they'll hire you to help revamp their website. Over time, you'll also figure out what tools or platforms work best for you. Maybe you're a coding whiz, or maybe you love working with WordPress or Divi. There's no one right answer, so it's all about finding your own path and what works best for you. A quick note on pricing. When you're just starting out, pricing your design services can be really tricky. My rule of thumb for beginners is to first figure out how long it's going to take you to create a website. So break it down by the type of pages or the content and get a sense of the hours involved. Then price your time, whether by the hour or as a flat fee, but don't forget to pad that price for the communication part with the client. You'll also want to include technical services you'll be providing, like setting up hosting or the domain name. For example, 2 30-minute calls with a client adds up to an hour of your time, and you want to make sure you're getting paid for the time you're working on the project, not just while you're working on the design part. And of course, as you gain experience, you can increase your rates. But in the beginning, it's smart to stick to the going rate, knowing that you're a beginner, you might run into challenges or need extra time to learn things on the go. In my experience, clients prefer a flat rate versus an hourly rate for any service that takes longer than 5 hours. Step 8, niche down or not. It's up to you. Some people swear by niching down. Finding a specific market or type of website to specialize in, like e-commerce stores, portfolio sites, or even more specifically, websites for doctors or websites for restaurants. While that can help you stand out, it's not mandatory and you don't need to limit yourself in the beginning. You might love variety and enjoy working with all types of clients and industries. The point is, you get to decide, and what works for you doesn't necessarily work for someone else who's niche down or not. There's no rule book for this, and your business can evolve as you do. Since you're at the beginning stages, things can change. So I would try not to feel too pressured when it comes to this one. This is sort of the discovery phase, and it's worth remaining fluid to eventually come to a more solid conclusion of what works best for you. That's a running theme, right? Step 9, choose a business name. Think about your business name. What do you want your business to be called? You can go with your own name or come up with a business name that's unrelated to your personal name. There are pros and cons to each approach, so consider everything before making your choice. Using your own name adds a personal touch and builds trust, and it's easy to pivot since your name doesn't change. So if for whatever reason you choose not to pursue website design, you can still run the business under your name. Some of the downsides to using your name are that everything is tied directly to you, which can limit growth or even sale potential down the road. It also might not suit a larger team or agency expansion later on. Using a business name not related to your personal name gives you flexibility to grow and scale. It can reflect your niche and audience, making it more brandable, and it can be easier to sell or expand down the road. So this is yet another place where you'll want to take some time to think about your options and then plan based on your situation, what feels right to you in this moment, and for what you plan to achieve in the future. Step 10, tangibles, setting up your business. The final step in starting your web design business is setting up the tangible items. Once you've got your name, you'll need your own business website where you can show your work, your portfolio, and have your contact information easily accessible. You'll also want to set up your business email address. It definitely doesn't need to match your domain name at first, which costs more than setting up a Gmail account, for example. And then consider getting a dedicated phone line, which you can get for free with Google Voice. The separate email and phone is particularly useful for those who like to keep things compartmentalized. So if you want to keep work-related emails out of your main inbox because it'll help you focus on those things whenever you've dedicated time to work on your business, then you'll probably want to set up a separate email. I can tell you from firsthand experience that when you're starting out and even beyond, your clients don't care if you have a professional email address that matches your domain name. All they care about is how to reach you, which is knowing your email address, and then when you're going to respond. So make sure you respond in a timely manner. Then there's social media, and depending on how you want to get discovered and how much time you have to stay consistent with posting, social media can boost your presence. As a beginner, it's not necessary though. There are other things to do. Definitely set up a free Google Business Listing profile though. It's free advertising on the largest platform and you can start gathering public reviews there, which is priceless. And then there's business cards. They're helpful if you plan on networking or visiting local businesses, something to just leave people with and to remember you by. Okay, then your schedule. If you're the kind of person who prefers planned out structure, set a schedule for working on the business side and design side of your workload. Set dedicated working hours and make them known to those around you. Lastly, don't forget to check your state laws about starting a business, especially if it's online. If you have access to a lawyer, you might want to consider consulting them and asking them about any legal specifics about starting your business or anything related to tax concerns. And that's it. Becoming a web designer is a journey, one where you'll constantly be learning and growing. The good news is, with practice and dedication, you're going to get there. You're going to keep getting better and better. So figure out which steps you want to take first and keep moving forward. Keep learning and most importantly, keep creating. Thanks for watching this video, and if you found it helpful, please give it a like and a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on design, creativity, and web development. If you want to get started on choosing a business name, check out my video on domain names where I share a method that anyone can use to create a great business name. Happy designing, and I'll see you in the next video.